guys, it's Catherine Movies, and today I'm going to be talking about some of my firsts. Basically, I'm going to be talking about my first times, and I have been seeing this quite a bit going around on YouTube, so I thought I would give it a try myself. So I'm going to get started on talking about my first. My first fear, and it will always be my fear, is clowns. I do not like clowns, and I remember that clown trend going on. Honestly, if I saw a clown, I would try to beat it up, or most likely more so run away. I remember watching the Rugrats at the time, and I remember that Chucky was really afraid of clowns, and also being in his perspective as a kid, I just do not like clowns. I find them creepy, and I will never find them funny. I will never find them nice, and so that is my first, is I hate clowns. My first anime was actually Kari Kano. It was an actually early 90s anime, and I found it in a bookstore. I was trying to get into anime. It actually was not Sailor Moon, and my mom picked out the book, and honestly, I fell in love with it. I got the whole series. I started reading it. I actually started watching the show, and it was my first anime that I can actually remember that I loved so much, and I would actually rewatch the anime again. My first time getting into Japanese music was from Final Fantasy X-2. I was totally obsessed with the game. I had posters everywhere, and the song was called Real Emotion by Sweetbox in English, but the Japanese version was from Kodakumi, and I fell in love with the Japanese version. So getting into Japanese pop was from Final Fantasy, and that was my first song that I can always remember and I will always love. My first concert was actually a Jesse McCartney concert. I actually saw him live quite a bit, and I met him 3 times. He was the first celebrity I met, and I actually felt so excited to actually meet him. I never thought I was really into Jesse McCartney music, but once I started listening to his music, I got even more obsessed with him and became more of a crazy fan. And so I would actually go on tours that were in the Boston area, and I would actually meet him and have a meet and greet pass with a friend, and it was just so much fun. And this was the first celebrity that I met and my first concert that I went to. My first cosplay was from Final Fantasy X-2 again, and I was Yuna. I was the gunner, and I actually have a picture, so I will post it right now. That was my first cosplay that I completed, and I fell in love with the character. I was a Final Fantasy X-2 freak when it came out, because it was a girl game, not like all guys in the game, but I felt like this was my game that I had to cosplay Final Fantasy X-2 characters, which was Yuna. I also did a couple others from the very beginning. My first cosplay was from Final Fantasy X-2, and it was Yuna. First convention I ever went to was another anime convention. It was in 2006, I believe. I was trying to find anime conventions online, and I've heard about Anime Boston, but I actually could not make it at that time. So I actually got my parents to drive my friend and myself to New Hampshire at the time, and I didn't really know what to do, but it was just so much fun to dress up and feel like I was a part of, place that accepted anime people, and I was just like, I gotta keep doing this. And so I actually continued to go to another anime convention for quite some time. And there was an interview person that actually interviewed me and my friends at the time too. I'll post a link in the description bar below. It's quite amusing, and I'm actually from Final Fantasy X. I'm actually cosplaying as Yuna. And so that's how far back that I went with this convention. And I just want to let you know, another anime con, I love you. My first time meeting a Korean pop band was the Wonder Girls. Actually, they were performing with the Jonas Brothers, and like I probably say this to a lot of people, is that I'm really not a fan of the Jonas Brothers, but I wanted to meet the Wonder Girls because I was so obsessed with their band and their music. I was in love with them, and I still am. And so I actually got to meet them. They were doing a free meet and greet in Connecticut, I believe. I don't remember, it's been so long, but I just remember meeting them. They were super nice, and so after that I just fell in love with Korean pop. And I don't really listen to the Jonas Brothers, and they were awesome, but honestly I just wanted to go to meet the Wonder Girls because it was my first time meeting a Korean pop sensation in Korea, and I'm obsessed with it. I am obsessed with Korean music. Okay, so this is a little embarrassing to talk about, but it's kind of funny. The first time getting drunk was actually in Vegas. I was 20 years old. I was almost turning 21. But I decided that I wanted to get drunk because I never actually experienced it. And this is what started the whole drunk phase of my existence. And I was in Vegas and I drank, my first drink was rum and coke. And I got so shit-faced. I honestly, the only thing I remember is this woman who had her shoe fling off and it went into the middle of the street, and she kept telling people she needed more to drink. And so, like, I'm like, oh, I'm not as bad as that woman. No. But that was the first time I remember I got so violently ill the next day, and it was actually the night of that I got really, really sick. And I was just like, I am never doing this again. Unfortunately, that lasted quite a while of my drinking days, but I remember the first time getting drunk was in Las Vegas. Okay guys, so those were some of my firsts, and if you want, you can leave a comment down below on what are your firsts. Give this video a thumbs up. You can also follow me on Twitter, and I'll post it right in the screen again. So you can follow me on Twitter and you can get the latest news, the latest videos that I'll post. And I do post videos weekly. So, and I hope everybody's doing well. And I love you guys, and thank you so much for subscribing. And I will see you next week. Bye.